In this video, I'm going to show you how to create a disposition letter from start to finish. So your lease has ended, your tenants have moved out, and your employees have went in and done the inspection and got back all the damages that they've reported for that unit. And so now you have everything that you need to create this disposition letter and get it sent out to your tenants. And so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go into a unit and I'm going to create a lease. So the way that we've structured things in Disposition Pro is you can create as many leases as you want under all of your units. We don't charge you guys based on how many leases you have. We simply charge you for units. And so we did that because if you want to go back and track 5, 10, 15, 20 years in the past, all of your leases for every unit, we've given you guys the ability to do that. And so in order to add a lease, all you need to do is put a start date and an end date. For me, I'm going to go ahead and make this 2022 and 2023. It will suggest you a turn if you've already made a turn that falls in this time period, which I have not. So I'm not even going to worry about the turn right now. I'm simply just going to create a new lease. Once you hit the submit button, you will see now I have this lease here. It obviously is still active because I haven't completed that disposition letter yet. So in order to go into that lease portal where you can input in all your data for that lease, you simply just click that start and end date field, and now you'll be directed over to your disposition letter. From here, first off, you can notice that this logo is absolutely massive. And so, obviously in this right section is where you can do a lot of your inputting, but I also want to show you guys how using this pencil, you're able to edit lease information for just that letter. And so if you want to edit this date right here, let's say you wanted to make that date, the 23rd, because that's the date that you're going to send it out, you can do that. If you wanted to change this address to whatever you wanted, you can do that. You can add in an introduction, a closing. You can put in any notes you wanted just for this one. Let's say like left mattress, please come collect. Like you can add in any notes you want, and that'll just be brought into this letter. And then the other thing I wanted to show you is you can adjust the width and height of this logo so that it is resized and actually looks correct. And so then once you hit update, you can see now my logo is a much better size. I have my notes in here. I'll also go ahead and just show you guys like adding in an introduction and a closing, kind of where those go. Obviously, if you've already set your company data in your company settings, then this would automatically be generated. But I wanted to show you that using this pencil, you have the ability to edit all of the data that is in this disposition letter just for this letter. That won't affect everything company-wide. It will just edit everything for this letter. And so we really have given you complete flexibility to make any notes and any edits for every individual lease that you have. So now let's go ahead and add some tenants in. So you quickly go to the right side and click on your tenants. You can see I have 0 so far. So I'm just going to add in a couple people here, and then you can see in real time these names are being added onto this letter. And so as you're making your inputs over here, you will be able to see your letter update in real time to really show you how it's going to look at the end. So I've added a couple tenants in. The other neat thing that we've added in here is we have tracked the date and who is submitting this data. So if you have to go back in time to see who made an input or when that input was made, we have that across the board for all of this data here. Next is your bills section. Now, your bills are not something that are actually going to be going to your tenant. This data won't actually be going into your letter. The only reason that we've chosen to put your bills in here is so that you can really have that complete, plus and minus balance of how much money did you spend on this unit in turnover from your vendors versus, how much money did you actually charge your tenants for this damage. So let's say that I had a $300 painting bill, and let's say that I had a $150 cleaning bill. You can add in those bills if you want. You can use Disposition Pro to really track your vendor billing, or you can continue using your property management software or whatever else you use to track that. But we put it in here just to help you really be able to see, your expenses versus what you're actually gaining back. And we've also noted that your expenses, the money that's leaving your books, we have made that red to help that be very easily noted. And then your charges and damages, which is money that you're charging your tenants, is in green, representing money that you guys will be getting back. And so pretty much a credit that everyone will always have across every lease is the security deposit. So let's say these two tenants had a security deposit of $1,500. You can quickly put that in here, and now you can see that that is in your letter. And you can add as many credits as you want. You can, we have no limitation in terms of data input. So you can add as many credits, charges, damages, bills, tenants as you want to this lease. Your credits, charges, and damages and tenants are the only data points that will actually be getting brought into the letter. Now, for charges, this is anything that you're going to be charging your tenant for. So I know utility bills is a very common one that a lot of companies will end up charging back at the end of the letter because your tenants move out, let's say in November, and they had a utility bill for October that you didn't get until now. So you can go ahead and put in those charges in the charges section, and you can see now that you have this charges section here that will be getting brought into your report. Now the last section you have is your damages section. And once you've done your inspection, you will obviously have that list of damages that your tenants have caused to your property. And so if you don't understand how your editing tab works, please watch the video that we will link in this YouTube. But if you do understand how your editing tab works, that's great. You understand that it is a key for all of your potential damages with those charges. And so when you're ready to add a damage, you click your Add Damage button, and then we have your damages organized by location, condition, item, description, and cost. And so let's say in bedroom 1, let's go ahead and put paint. You had to paint the walls. Now you will have any options that you have in your editing tab here, and quickly navigate to your different descriptions with your different costs. Once you hit submit, you will see that that damage is now in here. Boom. Now, I do want to note that if you wanted to change anything about this description, anything about this cost, you can make those changes. So let's say that instead of 150, you wanted to charge 160, and walls had scuffs and stains. What if your walls just had stains? Walls had stains on them that needed repainted. And instead of it being in bedroom 1, actually it was in bedroom 2. You can go ahead and edit any of these data points just for this letter. Again, you are using this add damages. This is going off of your editing sheet that is company-wide. So if typically you're charging $50 for blinds that are broken, but then for this unit you decided you only wanted to charge $40, you can make those changes directly inside of this damages section. So this editing feature here makes it very easy for you to edit everything that appears in this letter. Again, I want to emphasize that we have tried to make your lease letters as flexible as possible, as we understand that it is a case-by-case scenario and every unit is going to have different circumstances and issues that are going to pop up. And once again, we do keep track of the date created and who has submitted that data, so you can always go back and see who's been making the inputs for your different leases. So now we have a credit, a charge, we have a couple damages here, and you can notice that you have your complete clean letter here. And let's say that this is done, you put in all the data that you need to put in for this letter, and you are ready to send it out. You can click this printer button, which is going to just download the document, and once that document's downloaded, you can open it, you can save it to your device, you can print it off, and you can send it out to your tenants. Here's your disposition letter. It's reading really clean, explaining how much money that you owe them, and you can cut that check for that amount. Now, the other thing that I wanted to highlight for you guys is, what if, for example, your tenants wrecked the place, and instead of you owing them money back, they actually owe you guys money. So essentially your disposition letter actually becomes a bill rather than a report of money or a refund of their security deposit. And so to quickly showcase how that works, I'm going to go ahead and just change the security deposit to $150. And what you're going to see is now your credits is less than your charges and damages, and instead of this being amount that you're refunding them, it now says amount you owe, and this becomes a bill. And that's where you could go into here and really change the closing to say this is now a valid bill due on a particular date. You can obviously change the wording to be however you want it, but I just wanted to showcase how again, we understand that we needed to design these disposition letters to be extremely flexible for you guys. And so if their credits actually end up being less than the charges and damages that you are applying to their lease, this will become a bill, and instead of it being amount to be refunded, it will become amount you owe. And the process is the same. You can download this document and get that sent out to your tenants, and then once this has been done, you've printed it off, you've cut the check, you've closed their portal on everything else, like once your accounting department is confident they have completed this lease and they're done and there's no additional things that need to be done, you can go back to your unit portal and you can go down to this lease. You can see your tenants, you can see all the data that you've inputted for this lease inside of this unit, and you can go ahead and go to this pencil and go ahead and mark this status as completed. And what that's going to do is help you be able to track which leases are still active that you still have to make an input on and still have to send that letter out versus which of your leases are you completely done with. So I hope this video was helpful and made sense. Again, if you guys have any questions on how the disposition letters work, don't hesitate to reach out to us. We're more than happy to help you guys with any of this process to make things, smooth and as easy as possible.